Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. Welcome to my live stream. So, I'll be live streaming my open source activity. I'm doing code contribution to a open source Java project for user management. Here's the repository to the project, and I was assigned this particular task on the project. The project is called Spring User Framework for the project is called Spring User Framework. Here's the project repository. With this library, you can add login details, sign up, Spring Boot security. You can add them to your Spring Boot project library, and it also comes with a demo application for how to use the library. So this is the library itself. Here's the demo application it comes with. This is the creator of the library, and I'm a contributor to this particular project. So I was assigned a task on the library issue 153 to add passwordless authentication to the library. So this current live stream is about these features. Yes. This enhancement will provide developer an out-of-the-box solution for secure passwordless login flow by building upon our existing Spring security. So one thing I'll do is I would like to understand Spring security setup in the project. I would like to understand how Spring security is being set up in this project. So for that, I use Claude CLI. I point Claude CLI to the library, to the Spring User Framework library. So we could see here, I've point Claude CLI to the library, and here I'm asking the question. I would like to understand the Spring security setup for this project. Right now, I'm in my terminal, and I'm trying to understand Spring security setup for this particular project. So Claude CLI walks through the whole repository, and we'll go through this information together. So I will help you understand the Spring security setup in this project. Let me explore the security and configuration. Okay, explore. I have completed a thorough exploration of the Spring security setup. Here is a comprehensive breakdown. Okay, a breakdown of the Spring security architecture used in the project. So it says inside the project there is a main class called Web Security Config. This project uses a flexible authorization model with two modes, deny mode and allow mode. The deny mode, which is the default, everything blocks. It blocks everything except whitelisted URLs. Then allow mode, everything open except protected URL. Okay, so key configuration has this annotation on it: enable web security. So web security config is how Spring security setup is used. So let's look at that. So we've seen the core security config mentioned as the first point here. Then the second point, authentication flow. The authentication chain works like this: login request call DAO authentication provider, which is the bcrypt password checking. DS user details service load user by email. Okay. Login helper service checks lockout, updates last activity. Authority service load roles and privileges. Then the DS user details calls custom user details with authorities. Login success service that does audit login and redirect. Then the key classes are DS user detail service, which loads users from database by email. DS user details custom implementation supporting both form login and OAuth. Login helper service handles account unlocking and authority loading. Authority service converts roles to privileges granted authority object. Authorization model privilege based. Unlike typical role-based system, this uses privilege-based authorization. Rules privilege with hierarchy. Okay. Rules privilege with hierarchy. The rules admin inherits the role admin inherits role manager plus role user, gets admin privilege, invite user privilege, read user privilege. Role manager inherit role user, add user to team privilege. Okay, remove user from team privilege. Okay, role user login privilege, update own user privilege. Okay. Role hierarchy enables inheritance. Admin automatically gets manager and user privileges. Setup. Role privilege setup service creates roles/privileges from config at startup. Okay. OAuth 2 and OIDC support multiple SSO providers: Google, Facebook, Keycloak. Key classes: DS OAuth 2, DS OIDC, custom OAuth 2 authentication entry point. The flow: user initiates OAuth 2 login, redirects to provider. Provider authenticates and returns to callback. These processes: create new user if first time login, links to existing user if email matches, validate provider info, assign roles by default. Login success service log audit event. Okay, OAuth 2 and ODIC support. Let me quickly see this. OAuth 2, excuse me. Requesting like this login request. Custom base. Call. Checks and lookout. Update last activity. Load roles plus privileges. Audit login. Load user from database by email. Custom implementation supporting login and OAuth 2. Okay. From login and OAuth 2. Account security features. So I'm still trying to understand how the Spring security setup was done for this particular project. Account lookout, login attempt service. Account lookup. Account lockout. Track failed login attempts per user. Locks account after configuration attempt. Default 10. Auto unlock after duration. Can permanently lock. Duration is equals to -1. Password security. Decrypt hashing with configurable strength. Default 12. Password policy enforcement via passe library. Password reset flow with secure token. CSRF protection enabled by default for all requests. Selective example via configuration. token automatically included in team leaf template, session management, session registry, track active user sections, session invalidation on logout, cookie security, HTTP only and secure flags, timeout configurable, default 30 minutes, auditing login. Every security event is logged via audit event. Every security event is logged via audit event system. Login success or failure, logout event, account lockout, password change, registration events. Capture data user, timestamp, IP address, user agents and session ID. URI protection configuration to configuration list control access. Unprotected URI when default action equals deny. Protected URI. Index.html, CSS, user registration, user login, when protected .html. Method level security, enable method security, pre-authorize, has authority, admin privilege, password void, admin only method, pre-authorize, as role user, public void user method, support role hierarchy in method security expression, key design pattern, privilege base over role base, more granular control, configuration default, security mode adapt to use case, event-driven audit event for security action, provider agnostic, support multiple or two provider, fail secure, default deny with explicit allows. Would you like me to dive deeper into any specific aspect, such as how to add a new or to provider, how the account lockout mechanism work in detail, how to optimize authorization rules, how the privilege system is stored in the database? So this privilege based thing, I don't think I get it yet. I do not think I get it here. Authorization model, privilege base. Let me still go back to let me go back to the issue itself. We need to integrate passkey support into the Spring Boot user framework to offer passwordless authentication, leveraging modern passkey technologies. This enhancement will provide developers an out-of-the-box solution for secure passwordless login flow by building upon our existing Spring security integration. So we've seen some details about the Spring security setup that is done in this project, though some of them are not clear yet to me, but still, let me go on to keep understanding the task I'm trying to complete. Passkeys are increasingly adopted as a secure and user-friendly alternative to traditional passwords. By incorporating passkey support, our library will improve security by reducing reliance on password, enhance user experience with streamlined authentication flow. Enhance user experience with streamlined authentication flow. Keep the framework up to date with modern authentication trends and industry standards. First, before I continue with this, something comes to mind right now. I would like to ask the CLI if it can convert the information it gives me about the Spring security setup to a PDF. Yes, to a PDF. Can you convert all the info you gave me about the Spring security, about the security setup that was applied to this project into a PDF file and save it in my download directory. I will need it later. Let's see if that is something the Cloud CLI can help us with. Okay, it says it couldn't find any PDF generation tools. Do you want to put yes? Bash command. Check for Python PDF library. Do you want to proceed? Yes. Yes, and don't ask again for Python. Let me press escape because I want to exit that. Another thing I could do is I could just copy all it says myself and just save it somewhere. I could just copy all it says myself. First, let me make a screenshot of it. Login. I might need this later. That's why I'm taking the screenshot in case I close the terminal. Yes, this is the last one. Okay, good. So let's continue with understanding the task, the requirement for the task. Reference implementation. The proposed implementation should draw inspiration from the following blog post, which outline an approach for integrating Pascal in Spring Boot application. Oh, okay. Says we should draw inspiration from this blog post. Oh, it says I need to sign in. Let me sign in so I can have access to this. I hope medium, yes. Oh, so medium wants me to upgrade my plan before I could have access to this blog post. First, let me start already from beginning though. This one is a continuation from the previous blog post. The boilerplate configuration. The previous blog post covers the standard configuration that is just to the point for POV purpose only. Though it does not work for a POC, though it does the work for a POC, it does not look great in cosmetics. I extended the existing code and enabled the support for users and their passkeys stored in DB, changes in the UI, customization on top of Spring Web Auth JS for interaction, custom login page, UI and backend lacks validation. Enter your username and passwords to sign in or sign in with a passkey not interested. Create an account. Custom manage passkey page. Register a new passkey. Label of the new passkey. iCloud keychain. Spring and Java MySQL JTE for UI template. Wow, so right now I do not have a medium So let me see if this person have this elsewhere. Let me see if I can get this elsewhere apart from Medium. Let me search the web. Let me check Bedong's website. Let me see their tutorial for this integration, since I currently do not have access to the Medium post. They can be guessed, intercepted, or leading security reputation damage. Previous attempt to update password with isolation. Security cards is to try to address this issue but led to poor user experience and additional cost. In this tutorial, we explore passkey, also known as web auth n, a standard that provides a secure alternative to password. In particular, we will demonstrate how to quickly add support for this authentication method to a Spring Boot application with Spring Security. Passkey is a standard API defined by Web3 that allows application running on web browser to manage public keys. And register them for use with a given service provider. The typical registration scenario goes like this. The user creates a new account on the service. It allows application running on web to manage public keys. The user creates a new account on the service. The initial credentials are usually the familiar username and password. Once registered, the user goes to his profile page and selects Create Passkey. The system displays a passkey registration form. The user fills the form with the required information, e.g., the key label that will help the user select the right key, e.g., the key label that will help the user select the right key later, and submit it. The system saves the passkey in its database and associates it with the user account. At the same time, a private part of this key will be saved on the user's device. The private part user's device. The passkey registration is complete. Once key registration is completed, user can use the stored passkey to access the service. Depending on the security configuration of the browser and the user device, the login will require a fingerprint scan, unlocking a smartphone, or similar action. A passkey consists of two parts: the public key that the browser sends to the service provider. The public key that the browser sends to the service provider, and the private part that remains on the local device. However, the client-side API implementation ensures that a given passkey is usable only with the same site that registers it. Let's create a simple Spring Boot application to test passkey. Application will have a welcome page that displays the name of the current user and a link. Application will have a welcome page that displays the name of the current user and a link to the passkey registration page. The first step is to add the required dependency to the project. Web this Spring Security, web.ng, let's use dependency available. Web.n support for Spring Boot 3.4 or higher. Spring Security start with Spring Security. When was this tutorial written? When was this written? February 2025. Spring Security 6.4, which is the default version, included to the Spring Boot Starter Security dependency. The configuration DSL comes with native support for passkey through the web.n method. I really need a way to get this medium. Let me see if it's something I can. Members. I don't know if I still remember this. I don't think I do. don't think I do. I don't think I do. So for now, let me go back to looking at other requirements. Yes. This one is in. Okay, let me see the previous blog post. I think this also would ask of upgrade. Yes, it does. I'm going to share the best basics to some advanced level of hands-on with it. The blog post for advanced configuration is this part here is going to cover the best basic and of it, and will include let me check the number of minutes we spent on this stream. Right now we spent about 41 minutes on this stream. Passkey with this advanced proposed approach authentication flow. Develop a new authentication provider and filter tailor for passkey based authorized authentication. Authentication provider and filter tailored for passkey based authentication. Integrated passive flow. Security filter chain. Ensure that the new flow coexists with current authentication method. Username, password, words without breaking existing functionality. Configuration. Introduce configurable option to enable or disable passkey support. Okay. Provide properties for customizing the behavior, e.g. endpoints. Challenge lifetime. Documentation and sample. Update the library documentation with clear example of how to configure and use passkey authentication. Include sample code snippet and configure. Create comprehensive unit test to cover the validate that the password and the process meet security standards and behave as expected. Wow. So I guess for now we'll stop end the live stream here, and I think I need to do some research on this passkey technology, how it is used for passwordless authentication. Some companies pioneering it. Also the name of this library that was mentioned here, this dependency that was mentioned here. There was this particular dependency that was mentioned. Let me get the name again. Web alt n. Yes, I also need to check out this. Let me search it on Google first. Web alt n. Exactly. Web alt n is a web standard published worldwide. It depends on the API. So it's used to indicate to web alt n. So I also need to check out what this is about. I need to check out what web alt n is about. Yes, and should get back to this stream soon. Thank you very much for for staying around to the end of this stream. Thank you.